May I come in, ma'am?
Come in.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Sit.
Thank you.
Medha.
Yes, ma'am.
So, are you really Medha?
Ma'am, I try to be Medha.
So, what is the meaning of Medha?
Ma'am, it means buddhi, like a Medhavi Chhatra. So that's an intellectual child.
So, tell me 5 things that proves that you are an intellectual or a Medhavi student.
Ma'am, I'll try my best. Ma'am, one is that I graduated from HBTI Kanpur in civil engineering. Then in my second attempt, I got through civil services. I'm right now posted in Indian Railway Traffic Services. And ma'am, I think usually I do well in all spheres, be it in life or academics. So I would like to think that I've lived up to my name.
Great, great. So, you are already a railway officer.
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you want to switch? You don't like railways anymore?
Ma'am, that would not be the right thing that I would say. That I absolutely love Indian Railways, but I would like to see my scope and till where I can reach. I think in railways I have a very limited scope. For example, if I want to do something for women empowerment, I have some very limited areas where I can work upon. But if I'll get into maybe an administrative or a police service, I'll be able to widen my reach and scope, ma'am.
And IRS?
Ma'am, there also I think I will work for the taxation reforms if possible. If I'll be given an opportunity, I would like to work in this field and know better about the taxation system that is present in our nation, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me, we are moving more and more towards railway privatization. How do you see it?
Ma'am, the core functions of railways are not yet privatized. What we have outsourced is basically the cleanliness aspect or the service aspect of it. Even the first train that was said to be the first private train, it was run by railway staff. It was manned by railway staff, and everything was there that belonged to the Indian Railways. The only difference was that we gave more opportunity to the customers on board by giving them more food options, giving them better services like rows that we give on the Vande Bharat Express. So these are the things that we are outsourcing, but due to the safety aspects, I think we are not yet privatizing the core aspects of railways, ma'am.
Or is it time that we should move on towards, allowing the private players to work on railways and make it world class?
Ma'am, I think in terms of the service sector, service and hospitality, we can definitely do it. Like the cleanliness part of it, we can outsource. But going by what the major nations around us, for example, UK tried privatizing its railways, but then that was not a successful experiment because the private party was never ready to work on the routes which were non-remunerative. Because they would always like to operate between, say, a Lucknow and New Delhi. But what about maybe in a Unnao or smaller places? So that's why, ma'am, it will be difficult for us due to our social obligations to privatize it as such.
Very right. So, what is the operating cost of railways?
Ma'am, the operating ratio right now, it is more than 100%. Like we invest 107 rupees to earn 100 rupees. And that is mainly because the third AC and it is the only profitable sector that we have in passenger. And even the freight is the one cross-subsidizing the passenger traffic, ma'am.
And freight is also, I think, becoming expensive. More and more people are moving towards road transport. How can we correct it?
Ma'am, in the National Rail Plan that has been recently released, our model share is 27%, and we plan to make it around 45% by 2030, the Indian Railways part. For that, we have launched Gati Shakti scheme, multimodal cargo system. We are developing places from where connectivity is through all the three mediums, via port, like via sea waterways, via railways and roadways. Ma'am, I think we lack in door-to-door delivery because when we transport bulk commodities, it is difficult to give door-to-door connectivity. So that is one of the reasons we are losing it to the roadway sector, ma'am.
Any other reason?
Ma'am, this is the major reason. Apart from that, the cost is less for us. We are environmentally more sustainable. Ma'am, to some extent, red tapeism. We have very strict codes, the rules that are mentioned, and any deviation from it is heavily punished in railways, ma'am.
Okay. There are certain, opinions about given by people that we should not go for bullet trains because India is a poor country where we have so many things to deal with, and we are investing so heavily in bullet trains and high-speed trains and all of these. Should we invest there?
Ma'am, definitely we need to invest there because I think India is transitioning towards a more developed economy. We are the third highest in terms of PPP economically. So it's time we give our customers the best possible services that the Indian Railways can offer, ma'am. For example, I see that if the businessmen are able to travel faster, they'll be able to make more deals, and that will have a trickle-down effect on the economy as a whole. So I think it's time that we move towards high-speed railways, because smaller distances should be covered faster. That is perhaps the need of the hour, ma'am.
Okay, very right. So before I hand over to the esteemed member, what is Hyperloop?
Ma'am, Hyperloop is a kind of a transportation system which operates in a vacuum. Because of magnetic levitation, it is able to move at a very high speed, and it can cross around 200 kmph, if I'm right on that fact. And recently, the one who was making Hyperloop, they even test drive it, and they found it to be safe as well.
Is it working anywhere?
Ma'am, not yet operational. The trials were conducted and they were safe, but not yet operational anywhere, I think.
Okay, thank you.